Guys, episode 56, our little red wagon. How are we doing today?
Fantastic. Robyn, how about yourself?
Nearly fantastic.
We'll
take nearly.
Well, what would it?
Pretty good.
What would it take to get to fantastic?
Less travel.
Buddy, I can't help you with that one. That's on you.
Tell me about it.
Yeah,
I'm doing my best. You know what? As much as I'm trying not to travel so much, I mean, it's all relative, right? I mean, some folks travel literally 3 times as much as me. But,
sure.
As much as I'm trying to not travel so much, I'm really kind of bummed I'm missing Animal Con this weekend.
I was going to bring that up later because I noticed obviously you're not there. And yeah. So did you go last year?
Okay, I don't know why you're bringing up old shit, but no.
Never mind. I'm sorry. I'm moving on.
The first one.
Okay. Okay.
And I wish I would have went to last year again.
Yeah.
So Mike Johnson from Herp Collectors is going out, and he's doing a Redline booth for me there.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, not shipping, not selling boxes, or even giving away shirts or fans or back scratchers. He's going for our Redline report presence. And so he's going to be doing interviews all weekend long. And I love that idea. He's a really good interviewer. And we've got, there's a bunch of really nice, folks and great personalities out there at Animal Con. So I'm really looking forward to it and, seeing what he can accomplish and, get some good conversations. Nice, man.
That's amazing. I love that. That's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Oh,
but I wish I was there. It would be it's a really fun event. It's very different than our regular shows. Lots of panels and talks, and the public attendance is maybe 1,000 people, so it's not like a huge public turnout. It's more just creators being there, influencers, and people talking about how to be successful in that realm, whether it's a YouTube or TikTok or Instagram or podcasts or whatever. So it's really super informative and it's a really good vibe. The folks there, you would think it's a bunch of egomaniacs, trying to be influencers and creators, but actually everybody's super humble, super cooperative, excited to be there. At least it was the first year. I mean, maybe it's the ego show at this point. Who knows? Brian Potter's there.
Yeah.
So it is an ego show then.
Yeah, that's.
Well, I mean, just because he's there, that kind of assures that nobody else will have a bigger head.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
That's the real read of the room now. It's just so Brian and down. There we go.
Yeah.
I love it so much. That's fantastic.
Maybe next year we could just do our own Redline road trip and go down.
You know what? Robyn. Late to the mic. Yeah, Late to the Mic visits Animal Con. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. I paid Chris Eaton $15 sponsorship for the B Squad road trip. I can give you guys at least double that.
Oh, I was hoping for like 12, but
no more. Like $30, $40. It could be B plus squad.
We would have done it for stickers, but yeah, we're in.
Yeah, joke's on you, buddy. We literally would have paid you to do this. We are so good at marketing. Oh my goodness, I love it.
Me and Dr. Pat, we can just fight over lanyards all weekend.
Yes. You know what? This Tinley that's coming up next week, which is crazy. This is your reprieve. I'm not going to have any lanyards, so. Lots of Redline gear apparently at this show, so get ready. People are going to get a wave of red.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. Maybe you can help me shoot some Redline promo stuff since you're not doing lanyards.
Absolutely. You know what? You let me know what you want me to do. I'll help you this show. I feel like I've done enough damage in removing your lanyards over the past couple of years that I owe you something, right?
No, don't worry about it. You're not that effective at it. So.
Well played, sir. Well played.
Robyn.
Yeah, well played. That was quick. Not true. I mean, the handfuls of lanyards I bring him back indicate otherwise, but it's fine. No, it's good. Yeah, it's fine. All right, so obviously you travel a lot. How many shows have you been to so far this year? All of them? All of them?
No. But I couldn't even tell you. I mean, if you asked me where I was 3 weeks ago, I don't know.
Wow. Okay.
Sure. I was telling somebody today, I was like, oh, last weekend in Charlotte, we did such and such and such. And I realized, oh, that was 2 weeks ago. Last weekend, I was in Trinidad and La Junta, Colorado for the Tarantula Festival.
Oh.
We'll get to that in a second, because I think reptile people would be surprised at that answer, but I feel like you and I have had this conversation. Bugs are a big deal in your life.
They are, and they're a big deal in the reptile world for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, the answer to your question is I don't know how many shows. It seems like a lot. And they all just blur together, so.
Yeah, because it's not just animal shows you go to. You go to like any kind of convention or venue, it seems like, just to see how they operate and what's going on. Because you were at like a knife show in Atlanta a while back?
I did go to the knife show in Atlanta and bought some fun knives.
Do you
and then after that I went and visited Chase and Justin.
Yeah. Oh.
And Bob.
I love that. So one of the things I love talking with you, Robyn, is you're like an ogre or an onion. You have layers. And it's a nice little Shrek reference for anybody that knows, but it's fine. Anyway, I feel like every time I talk to you, I find out like something new you enjoy or collect. Are knives that thing that I'm going to find out this time? Are you a big knife collector?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm a casual knife collector.
What does a casual knife collector mean?
It means my partner Denver Matt is like me with watches, and he has.
There it is. Okay. Yeah.
And I have maybe 24 knives. Oh shoot! Look at this. Look.
I don't think a
casual level just went down a little bit.
I don't think a casual knife collector can literally just pull a knife from random places.
Jack Hawk 9000 out just to...
my shark fin knife, my hunting. No, this is a fighter. This is a fighter knife. I got to get into a knife fight.
See, once again, you're losing us.
Yeah, how many knife fights do you find yourself in at reptile and animal conventions?
No more than 2 a year.
Not enough.
Not
Undefeated.
enough. Undefeated.
That's probably a bad joke, because now you try and challenge me to a knife fight.
We start seeing like random shipping companies falling off the wayside. What happened? They challenged Robyn to a knife fight.
Nice.
Pulled out the shark fin.
You know what? Shark skin, Jack.
So sorry.
You know what's fun about the knife show? Or I went to Super Zoo. Was that August?
Okay.
In Vegas, which is the all pet show. And not all pet like the Super Show is doing or Toronto's doing, but like pet industry. So
yeah, JT and I were actually going to go to that, and just things didn't work out.
Yeah, it's dogs and cats and birds. What I like about those shows is you get to see how other industries and other folks execute a show.
Yes. Yeah.
You get to see ideas, marketing ideas, branding ideas, presentation ideas. Even ZooMed, our good friends at ZooMed do Super Zoo.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not just, Jay Toy and Tony standing in the booth eating popcorn.
Right.
They actually make a 2-story booth at Super Zoo.
Oh man.
Wow.
With stairs, like metal stairs that go up to the second story. And there's couches.
Don't tell Justin.
Yeah, I know. It's funny. I love that you brought this up, because so JT and I have been traveling a lot more, going to shows for the same reason. Mm-hmm. We're looking at how other industries do stuff, because like
it's valuable.
It's unbelievably valuable. I think a lot of times people get stuck in their head, like there's one purpose to go to a show. It's either to sell or like light marketing. And honestly, what I've really started finding more and more, the more I just business in general, is like going and interacting with other industries and other shows and things like are great opportunities to learn and then rip them off on like ideas, right? Like you see a good idea, you're like, yep, I'm using that. Thank you. That's a great plan. And so I wish more people in our industry took advantage of stuff like that, right? Because, when JT and I brought up going to Super Zoo, people were like, that's not the reptile industry. Why would that matter? And we're like, okay, like that's fine, Mm-hmm. So I love that. That's really cool. I think that's a lot of good insight that people could take on.
Yeah, and sometimes I wish, the reptile industry / hobby, we execute at our own level, but sometimes I wish we could do a more industry type show.
Yeah.
Like, that second story for ZoomEd is for meetings.
Yeah.
And, for buyers and sellers. And
right.
I love the idea of that. There were talks there about branding and marketing and building an audience on social media, or choosing product lines to bring into your pet store. Like there's usable, valuable info at those shows, and
yeah.
Like I said, I don't have any value about choosing products to bring into my pet store. I don't have a pet store, but listening to them talk about it and talk about how to choose properly or strategies of choosing things.
Yeah.
There's value there. And then the presentation part, like Super Zoo, is crazy off the hook. The knife show was, there was a couple nice booths, but it was pretty swap meaty.
Yeah.
But there had to be, I think, 700 or 800 vendors. So it was big. But at Super Zoo, like there's a blue buffalo booth.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, what they spent just on the flooring of this giant booth was more than I've spent on every show in my entire history.
Yeah.
They had multiple couches for like sitting areas. Then they had a whole bar area with like 6 or 8 high tops with chairs. And then they had like a whole counter serving food, everything else, all to get you to buy their dog food. And so it must be, obviously they do hundreds of millions of dollars in dog food. Yeah. The margin must be pretty good. But just to see it executed at that level is really, really impressive.
I think you hit the nail on the head though, right? You said industry / hobby. And I was actually talking with another really, really big breeder the other day. And we were just talking about the industry and things that we can try and do to be better just in general, right? For sales. Mm-hmm. And one of the things he brought up that his biggest struggle when he interacts with other people and goes to our shows and things like that is we're an industry driven by a hobby, not the other. And so because of that, you have so many hobbyists that think that they are businesses, or so many hobbyists that really drive our business industry, that it really has a weird effect on how our shows and the professionalism go, right? Yeah. I'd be willing to bet there's less than 100 breeders that are making really truly significant cash doing this, right?
Oh God, I don't know even half of that.
I'm trying to be generous here, right? I'm just saying, and I think that plays a big role, right? Because even when you go into shows like Tinley, how many people are making significant money there that they can take that money and reinvest and do stuff like you're talking about, like Blue Buffalo or whoever else, right? It's tough. So it kind of has this weird, there's not enough money in the professionals in our industry to do stuff like that, to kind of shift the industry forward, to have shows like that. Does that make sense?
It does, but that's where you can still pull value out of that. And you could pull value out of that by going to Tinley or going to the Charlotte show, or the Denver show is really, really well executed. Castle Rock, officially, the All-American Reptile Plant Expo. It's a really great show, great execution. But you don't have to be super profitable and make a living at reptiles to go to a Tinley show and see the Canova booth and see how they present, how they execute, and say, what can I take from that? How can I tune my game a little bit more? You don't have to be a fucking millionaire to present well. You know, the banners and the branding, it's hundreds of dollars.
And just how you interact with people. It's also just how they present themselves too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. 100%.
It is the most frustrating thing. So we were at a Collecticon, I don't know, a month or so ago, which for those who don't know is like a trading card convention, right? For like Pokemon cards and Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic and all that other stuff. And my wife and I are walking through it, and she made the comment, she's like, this is very different. And I was like, then what? She's like, the reptile shows. And I was like, why? She's like, because every vendor is standing up and actively trying to engage with every customer that walks by. Yep. And I was like, oh, Baggins, that's you're not wrong, but wow. And it was kind of in that moment. I think some of the issues we run into, right? Like we think like, oh, the snakes will sell themselves, and some snakes might, but in general, the snakes will not sell themselves, right?
In 2002, they might. Sure.
Yeah.
Not today.
In 2021, they absolutely did.
Well, but during COVID.
Right.
Yeah. What makes your animals stand out over the next guy's animal?
You know what's so funny? So Chris Eaton used to, and maybe he still does, ask that question, right? Like, why should people buy from you? Mm-hmm. And I always, whenever I would answer it to him, I was like, well, they should buy from me because I have the animal they want. Like all of us produce very similar animals. The further up the tier, right, you get more similar. A lot of us have work in similar projects. We produce a lot of animals that are a lot of similarities. So I don't think it's as much, to me, the question was never why should somebody buy from me? It's why are they going to buy from me, which you kind of just said, right? And the answers to that are what we do on the back end, what we do with the advertising, what we do with the marketing, what we do to let people know, like, hey, we make good stuff. I mean, Canova was always, kind of the bastion for that, right? Like Justin was out there doing YouTube videos, and then they brought Chase on and he was doing stuff, and then Summer, and they do a good job of showing off really, really cool animals. Now they put those bangers out constantly, but there's other breeders that are producing animals that look just as cool as some of Canova stuff, and those animals just sit and never sell. And you ask yourself, why is that? Well, it's because no one knows that animal exists.
Yeah. Presentation, service, personality.
That's a big one, right? Personality. Like if you have the personality of a potato, things are going to go poorly. So
true. So there was you guys mentioned the road trip earlier. So the guys did a Redline road trip. Steve and Shane.
Yeah.
Redline road trip up to the Toronto show. Apparently, it was a fantastic show, and that's great. It's great problem. But one of the people I told him you got to connect with is Marcus Jane.
Yeah.
And I told him because to me, he is a pioneer on presentation. I don't know if you guys remember the old throwbacks in the 2000s. He was one of the first guys to really put together like a visual. Like, this is my booth. And I have a color scheme. I put a lot of thought into my signage, my displays, my presentation. Man, when I saw Mark's setup, at the Toronto show I went to, and he was coming to American shows, but when I first saw his setup 100 years ago, I was blown away. I was like, holy shit, I don't know anything about this guy, but he's a pro.
Yeah.
And the way he presented it, he was doing pieds and albino stuff. It was very early on. But yeah, I was just like, holy moly, his animals are fantastic. And his presentation, I thought, that's the guy. You want to buy a snake, you go to him. And so what's interesting is he's been they've been posting stories, and now he's kind of gotten onto it and posting some stories on Instagram and stuff as well. I think it was today he posted a throwback.
I was going to say he did actually.
To today's booth.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was always so fantastic when they make such a great presentation, and it's stuck with me for 20 years. And that's what you want, right? You want to make an impact on somebody that even 2 decades later, they still think, holy shit, that was amazing. I remember that.
Yeah. It's funny. It's funny you bring that up. The first person that I remember really doing like a big, like the now fabric banners that everybody does and everything, and really like the crazy setup. He's not in the industry anymore, and he's kind of a dirtbag, but like Daniel Allison was one of the first ones I remember. Like he had the big Constriction Addiction banner.
That green color stood out.
Dude, it just did. And like, I remember I actually, oddly enough, a picture popped up the other day on Facebook of it. And I was like, that was like in 2015 and 16. And that looked really good. And of course, now that's just the norm, right? And so you're right. Like having that presentation that sticks out that years later people remember, it's a big, and then big deal.
You friggin' youngsters you're too young to know, but back in the day, Ralph Davis.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Don't pretend like you know, Pat. You don't know who Ralph Davis is. He was the king of ball pythons. He was the king before Justin was.
I know.
His logo and his branding today, it looks very simple. But again, like nobody had really like punched it into the market like Ralph did, and that was one of those early pioneers as well that really said.
Ralph also drove, though. The other thing he did an incredible job of driving was the Incubator records, right?
Yeah.
How many endless days did we all waste just staring at his Incubator records and looking through hatchlings and then harassing him to see if any of them were still left? And yeah, man, I mean,
you do know Ralph. Okay.
Yeah.
We're not that old.
Come on. We're that young. That young. Yeah. We're old people now, Robyn. I mean, not as old as you, but close.
My back hurts when I wake up.
Man, my knees were killing me today. I played basketball like 3 days in a row, and it's like, oof, I got to give it a rest.
I'm there too. I played pickleball today.
Yeah. Okay.
And while I'm playing, it's very different now. While I'm playing, I feel great. 10 minutes after I'm done, I'm like, my feet hurt. Good Lord. I'm like limping to the car. I don't understand. I guess it's just the age, but
it's funny how that works, isn't it? It's tough.
BioFreeze fixes all.
BioFreeze does fix all. Ice packs, it's the best. I've got
ibuprofen,
oh dude, everything. It's rough. Cold plunges, oh, godsend. Love it so much.
Yeah, I can't. Will Banks keeps trying to get me to do that.
They're good, man. They're good. Couple of minutes at 40 degrees, it's going to change your life, I promise.
It will.
Yeah, the sleep the night you do a cold plunge is so good.
Yeah,
it's amazing
so
how
good.
much it enhances your sleep.
So good.
I don't want to.
It's fine.
Hey, you know what's funny?
I'm ready.
My world. While we're having these deep conversations about Mark Mandic and Brandon and everything, I got a knife delivery.
Of course you did. Of course you did. What kind of knife is it?
It's a Microtech.
Okay.
It's the donut design. It has sprinkles on it.
Of course.
Right up Patrick's alley.
Yeah.
And it's an out the fronter.
Oh.
Okay.
How about that?
Yeah, Robyn, we have sprinted so fast past casual at this point.
I want to let people know, don't mess with me. Look at this.
I love it.
Wait, hold on. I got to reverse my grip. Okay. Now I'm ready.
So guys, I'm at the Charlotte AARP and I'm standing there talking with Robyn, and I don't really know how watches actually ended up coming up in the conversation, but like he brings up like, oh yeah, I like watches. And I was like, oh, I love watches. Like, let's talk. And he's like, no, like I love watches. Now, I have an okay sized watch collection. I probably have like 15 or 20 watches, and it's more than probably normal people, but and then Robyn's like, no, I have a watch collection. I'm like, what does that mean? And this guy comes swinging with these numbers. And I'm like, Robyn, that's not a collection. That's a problem.
That's a small business.
That's Robyn, that's a problem. But
I don't have a pet store, but I could have a watch store.
You could have a watch store. And what I loved though is when he starts naming off some of the watches, it's some good stuff. Like it's not like normally when somebody says like, oh, I've got 120 or 2,000 watches, you're like, okay, it's a bunch of like swatches and garbage, right? And then Robyn starts listing some stuff and I'm like, well done, sir. Well done. You're doing all right there, buddy. That's some good stuff. So
I'm G-Shocked up right now.
Oh,
yes,
and that's it's a fine watch. It's a fine watch. The G-Shocked.
Yeah.
G-Shocked.
Oh but my God.
I'm at my desk, so I mess around with straps.
You got all kinds of toys. What do you got?
Omegas.
Yeah.
Rollies.
Uh-huh.
Rollies.
Robyn's casual knife and watch box at the desk.
Yeah.
I don't think I hope people appreciate how much money was just shown on that camera.
That's at least $1,000.
At least. You know what?
Lifetime worth of effort.
So, Robyn, I will say, while we were at the show, you said you didn't like your moon swatch, and I have to hard disagree with you. I've really enjoyed mine. I just got it I've had it for 2 weeks now.
Moon swatch.
Oh my God.
Moon swatch. We didn't set this up.
We didn't, which is the funny part.
They just all happen to be in, like I got knives within reach. I got watches within reach. Yeah. But no, so this is a great little watch, this Moon Swatch
Robyn has the GDP of a small country on his desk.
Yeah. But the problem is, and like there's literally only 2 people that care watching this.
That's
the
okay.
problem is it has a plastic, crystal. It's not crystal, it's just plastic. And so it scratches.
I mean,
and Dr. Pat was like, "Oh, you should get a screen protector."
Yeah.
All right, nerd.
He is a nerd.
Sorry. Anyway. But no, this is one of the things, like, I encourage anyone that sees Robyn, whether he looks disinterested or not, you should go talk to him, because you'll just find random things out about him. Like, it's really actually great. Like, I mean, this, right? Like, did not anticipate Robyn having a whole toy box in front of him for the show.
Do you happen to collect anything else sitting at the desk?
Yeah, what else is at the... You know what, Robyn? What's at the desk? This is a fun new game we're playing.
I love it.
A little FedEx van.
Is that a Hot Wheels?
Yes, it is.
Is that one of the the specialty treasure cars that has the rubber wheels, or is that just a normal Hot Wheels?
No, if you spend $1 million with FedEx, they give you this car.
That's how
Worth it.
Worth it. Oh my God.
Chase, what do you collect? Anything?
Oh yeah.
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 Lots.
Oh, we don't
Star
talk about
Wars, military equipment, 3D printing stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Toys like that. Yeah. Not as much anymore. I used
to.
You
have a Millennium Falcon?
Yeah, I've got a couple of them. I've got a storage unit full of unopened Star Wars stuff that needs to be gotten rid of. Honestly, it's a
and you collect it for
a real problem. It was a real problem.
You collect it for the value, so you can resell it later, kind of thing.
That's kind of what everyone says to, make the purchase worth it, but then you never let it go. That's the real problem. That's why there's a storage unit full that.
Well, I mean, I used to have that with bikes.
Yeah.
So one time I had over 50 complete bikes.
So this just got brought up. Someone said the old school BMX bikes.
That's correct.
Yep, that's another item. So do you find clearly collecting this many items, you have to have somewhat of an addictive personality?
Yeah.
So since you don't breed reptiles really anymore, do you feel like that's how you express that? Or when you were breeding reptiles, was the collection of other random stuff kind of suppressed?
No.
You've always been this way?
He's all in with everything.
Okay. Yeah, I'm all in. Let me see what else is within reach. Old BMX number plates. Dun.
Oh my God.
Whole frame sets.
That's great.
Robyn, what the fuck?
Patrick, hurry. What collectibles do you have at your desk right now?
I have none. They're all 15 feet away, so I can't get to them. I don't have them in arm's reach.
So.
Oh my God, and now Chase is pulling. Oh my God.
World War II German wheel from a half track with all the perfect stuff still on it.
Cool.
I have I've got helmets on either side of my desk. Tons of.
I want to collect one of those.
I collect a lot of
I like that.
And vehicle parts and vehicles.
Look at this. Look at this, Chase.
Let's go. Oh my gosh.
Big ass giant wrench.
Robyn, why do you have that?
I love it.
Because it's big and metal and it weighs 33 pounds or something. I bet Chase would want one of these.
Why not?
Metal. It's old.
Oh my God.
Look what you could crank with that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Chase
Patrick, you're not having enough fun right now.
No, I'm really sad because I'm not at my desk, so I can't grab stuff.
Collectibles out of reach. This is the real problem.
Oh my God. You know what? I feel like we should just do a whole episode sometime where we all just do like show and tell and show off our favorite collectibles.
I'm recording from the Jeep then in the garage with the Jeep motorcycle.
Yeah, I'm a little upset right now because I am actually the only one not literally sitting in their toy box. I'm upset. Yeah, I'm upset.
I think I might be out of stuff to show.
Oh no.
Oh, buddy. You kind of blew your load on the first 20 minutes.
Well, I mean, if you took down the Redline backdrop, you could see my collection of 80s metal albums.
Oh my god,
I love it.
The Cult and Motley Crue, Van Halen albums.
I'm so glad we both have a lot of knickknacks.
Yeah, I don't know where. I really don't know what that is.
I think it's called hoarding. Hoarding.
We're supposed to be on a show.
Robyn, you just pulled out a 80-pound wrench. I think that goes beyond collecting, bud. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah,
it's verging on a problem.
It doesn't look like you're in a garage right now.
But it wasn't as cool as Chase's giant wheel.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I also have a World War II German Panther tank wheel, but it's not up in my office right now. It's a lot heavier. I can't pick it up.
A lot heavier.
Oh my god! We're way off on a tangent here. You ever talk to Brizzy about his Legos?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So I also have a pretty intense Lego collection. So Brizzy and we spend a lot of time talking about Legos and Pokemon, right? Those are the two big things with Brizzy. Yeah, I've got some pretty intense Lego sets as well. Love them. It's good.
I chatted him up at a show because he had a few on his table. I was like, "What's up with the Legos?" And he started telling me. I was like,
Did he correct you? Did he correct you immediately and say it's not Legos, it's Lego? It's plural.
No. I don't remember that.
I'm surprised. Yeah, there you go. That's your tidbit. So now you can tell if somebody's like a Lego person, they'll say Lego instead of Legos. So there you go.
Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna remember that. But he pulled up on his phone like an app for selling Lego.
Yeah, Bricklink. Yeah,
and I could see like he was making sales at the show.
Yeah,
and then he was also he pulled up some site where he was buying huge sets.
Yeah,
and I was just like, wow, this is a whole different world. Fascinating. Yeah,
there's a lot of little niche industries, right? Like there's a niche industry for probably just about everything. And I love going to a lot of those different shows. So one of my friends collects like writing pens, right? And she was like, "Hey, there's a big show in DC. Do you want to go?" And I'm like, "Absolutely." I mean, a pin show? That's got to be great. Guys, the people watching was second to none. I mean, also, once again, like things you never expect, like pins that are hundreds of thousands of dollars. And you're like, that's stupid. Meanwhile, I'm spending like $40,000 on a ball python. Who's the real idiot?
True. Yeah. And that's how we ended up at the knife show. It was just like, that sounds really cool. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go see it. I don't have in my immediate reach my used toothbrush collection, but I mean it's pretty impressive.
Are they all used by you or used by
other people?
Okay, what's the best game used toothbrush you have?
I completely made that up.
Damn it, Robyn! I was really hoping that was real.
Mike Brizzy.
Oh my god, that would have been good.
Just tie it all together.
Yeah, just circle it back. Robyn, do you want to start the used toothbrush collection at Tinley?
Please don't bring me any used toothbrushes.
Everybody that's listening right now, please, for the love of God, bring Robyn a used toothbrush. Please and thank you.
My wife would not let me in the house.
We were able to get Reggie from Reggie's Urban Jungle. He got a lot of spoons because he admitted to collecting spoons on the show. And you know what? The faithful came through and they brought spoons to the show. So guys, please bring toothbrushes.
No, it's gotta be better than that. Best plastic watches you guys can find. What's the most cringy plastic watch you guys can find? Robyn needs them.
I'd rather have the toothbrush.
No,
he's got more watches.
I'm gonna Amazon a fresh Hello Kitty watch right now.
Oh,
you're insulting my integrity here with the watches.
Oh, Molly, that's not very. I have been nothing but nice to Molly this episode, and this is what she comes in swinging. Let the slander begin. It's fine. It's fine. See where we're at.
Patrick's ineffective. You know.
Ooh.
It's like
you get that a lot.
Yeah, y'all aren't the first people to say it, and you probably won't be the last. So, but you know what? I was effective enough to get you on the show, so I'm going to call that a win.
Yeah. Oh, super
Persistent.
He
Yeah.
heard I was showing up.
Is that what it was? Yeah. I had to specifically say and Chase to really make sure that he was going to show up. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's good.
Hey,
It's
Patrick,
good.
I've got a question for you. What's your best and worst of the week, by the way? Because you skipped that, and
I think we all did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. You know what? We'll start. Chase, what was your best and worst of the week? We'll start there.
Honestly, the fam came down in the middle of the night last night, and they're hanging out through the weekend. And
the whole family?
No, everyone minus Molly.
That's good. That's for the better. Yeah.
The good siblings here, though.
Absolutely. Okay.
But, and then I've got my 10K mountain race on Curry on Saturday.
Okay.
So pretty stoked for that.
So what's the worst?
Huh?
Like a running race?
Yeah.
10K.
Yeah, it's the most brutal mountain race, 10K in Georgia.
I don't understand why you'd want to do that. Okay.
He hates himself. That's
fun.
Yeah, just for fun. What's your worst of the week?
Oh, worst of the week. I got a full slug clutch again.
Oh, yeah, that's rough.
It feels like that's becoming more of an occurrence that we don't enjoy like every couple weeks now.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I get that. Oof. Robyn, best of the week and worst of the week.
Worst of the week was coming home from the Tarantula Festival.
Yeah.
And we blew out a tire on our trailer, our RV.
Oof.
Side of the road. Yep. So we sat. I was able to limp off to an exit. And then we sat on the side of the road, waited for service because I didn't have a jack or a wrench.
Of course.
Tire. Yeah. So it took about an hour. And then as the tow truck guy pulled up with his stuff, I got out to go show him the wheel. And then it was the best of the week. There was a tarantula next to my wheel.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love that.
Like adult tarantula. I was like, I've never seen one before out of context. And here I am coming from the Tarantula Festival, and there's a tarantula. Yeah. So
I love that.
All
that's
excited.
Cool.
You know, obviously I was annoyed and hot and tired, wanted to just get home.
Yeah.
We were an hour from home and, blow out the tire, which I probably have to sell a couple watches to pay for the damage. And it was all offset by, holy shit, there's a tarantula right here.
Nice.
I corralled him. I picked him up. I took some photos. And it just made the whole experience fantastic. So that was my worst and then the best.
I love it. So my best of the week is no more employees left Aura. That's been great. So a whole week of no other employees leaving. So that's awesome. And honestly, no worst. So I'm going to take it as a win all around.
Okay. I'll have to get some context to the staffing situation there later.
Yeah, we can talk about it. You know what? No, we'll talk about it after the show. I have besmirched Molly's name enough last week. I'm going to be nice this week. She is a traitor, and I don't love her anymore. But other than that, it's fine. So, all right, Tarantula Fest.
Yeah,
I want to hear about this.
Tell me. So tell me if I'm wrong, but if I remember right from one of our previous conversations, bugs. Shipping bugs, spiders, things like that are like some of the most volume you get through Redline, correct?
Yeah. I'd say 4 of our top 10 shippers are spider guys. Yeah.
It's funny because I think a lot of people, when I interact and talk to them, they look at Redline as a reptile shipping company, right? And that's basically it. You just do reptiles. And then, I was shocked when we had that conversation. You're like, yeah, some of our top shippers are, bug people. And I'm like,
not like, we don't have like roach guys or cricket folks using Redline.
Yeah.
But like pet quality or breeder quality.
Right.
Collectibles. Yeah. The spider guys are crushing it. I mean, it's just a huge market. They can't keep it in stock. If you go Dr. Pat and I were just at the Charlotte show, and ball python sales were mediocre to poor for some folks.
Yeah.
And other reptiles, moved kind of middling, which is kind of what it is for shows right now. But the invert guys, like Exotics Unlimited, they crushed it.
Yeah.
Sold the hell out of spiders and tarantulas. Apparently 2 different things. So yeah, when they go to shows, my buddy Nate at Micro Wilderness, he does the California shows. I mean, sometimes I go to his booth to try and talk to him, and I can't get 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Because he's just hand over fist selling tarantulas, taking cash, selling tarantulas, taking cash. So yeah, there's an annual tarantula festival down in southern Colorado, and it's a big area for native tarantulas, and they migrate this time of year, so you're more likely to see the males in particular out cruising around. And so they have a festival, and I invited some tarantula heavy hitters out there. Tyler Kirk from Spider Shop, Nate from Micro Wilderness, and Richard from Tarantula Collective. They all flew out for this festival. And we went out there, and turns out it was rinky dink. But I told him I wasn't sure what to expect.
Sure.
I told him it's not going to be Tinley Park.
Yeah.
But there was a couple academic talks at the college there, and there was a bunch of spider academics and nerds talking about the patty pelps or whatever the feet are, and how to sex different tarantulas and the subtle differences. And there that was interesting. But then we got onto some buses, and we went out an hour into the country and stomped around in some fields looking for tarantula burrows and finding tarantulas and getting pictures and some video.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it turned out okay. And then the next day there was a parade for the festival, which would look mostly like a Shriners parade, the little tiny cars.
Yeah.
And, a float, a couple floats with had fuzzy legs on them for tarantulas. So I don't know if the guys will come back for the Tarantula Fest next year, but it was fun to go for one time.
Okay.
And La Junta, which was the location of Tarantula Fest, I've never been before. Turns out that is one dust bowl of a little tiny town.
Yeah.
But it ranks in the top 5 of highest crime statistics out of all towns in the country.
Awesome.
Okay. Good. So, that's a ringing endorsement.
That's where the collection came in handy.
Yeah, you want to have your self-defense weapons handy.
Specifically ones that are painted like donuts.
Well, yeah, because then the criminals, they find that offensive, and they won't try and steal your nuts.
Yeah, they're not ready to get Krispy Kremed, so
right. Yeah, I will Krispy Kreme your ass.
Oh my god!
Yeah, so that was interesting. Again, the guys made the most of it. They were super good sports about it, and we got to see tarantulas. And so we had fun. And it's always fun hanging out with your peers when it's a different environment, right? It's not reptile show and you're out in the field. And these guys, they're such tarantula nerds. I mean, they go to South America and look for tarantulas.
Oh, okay.
They go to, to Peru and go to Asia and look for tarantulas. And Nate from Micro Wilderness, I mean, he flew to the Philippines.
Yeah.
And, doing tarantula stuff. So, they're super serious about it, but it was fun to be in their
world.
Yeah, in their world and their enthusiasm and their passion. Yeah. They 100% have passion for tarantulas. But yeah, that segment of our industry is booming. And if you go to Tinley, not this weekend, but next weekend for the big Tinley Park show, I guarantee you go to any of the invert tarantula spider folks, whether it's Jess at Little Spood or Marshall Arachnids, they're all going to crush it. They're all going to have fantastic weekends, sell out all their stuff. You ask them, how was your Tinley? They're going to be like, it was freaking spectacular. Yeah, they're all just going to crush it because that segment of the industry is so friggin' hot, and it's been hot for a couple of years now, and I don't see an end to it right now.
That's interesting. I have noticed more and more of the jumping spider companies popping up at a lot of the shows, and so that was one that I specifically noticed.
Because everyone likes to collect the little containers,
the little homes. Yeah.
My staffer at Charlotte, Erica, she went home with a container.
Yeah.
Little fancy jumping spider house with the little jumping spider inside.
Yeah.
But again, how fucking cool
Yeah.
These folks taking advantage of an opportunity, making they're not just selling spiders in a cup, right? Like, they're doing the whole supporting cast of the product and presentation. They're making these great little habitats, and of course it's such an easy animal to keep in a small, little habitat. So it makes it very realistic to keep it. It's not like a 6-foot water monitor or something, a 15-foot cage for it. So they're making, just a lot of cool products and supporting materials for it. And I talked to folks at Charlotte, the spider folks, and they're crushing it.
Yeah.
They were like, this weekend was fantastic. And that makes me feel so good. I like to check in with the vendors to, see how was your weekend? What's good? What's not? What's hot and what's not?
So you don't talk to ball python breeders then?
No, I did. Yeah, I don't want to bring up negative shit. But
good job, Patrick.
What's interesting? Charlotte, I like the area.
Yeah.
And I'm pulling real hard for Nick and Troy and their staff to have a great show there. I'd love to see a great show twice a year. Fantastic. The show was okay. I do love the plant aspect, which is another booming segment of our industry.
Yeah.
But man, I heard nothing but great reports for Atlanta the week before, which is Bob's Falls.
Bob's show. Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe that's why Charlotte was a little bit soft. Maybe people in the region went to Atlanta, spent their money, and didn't have more money to spend in Charlotte. But I heard nothing but great stuff for Bob.
Yeah.
Apparently he crushed it on the promotional side, crushed it on the execution side, and vendors, even ball python folks, said they had terrific shows.
Right.
So I love hearing that positivity.
No, it is great. I think you kind of hit the nail on the head with some of the issues that Charlotte had. Was there were a lot of travel shows leading up to Charlotte.
Yeah.
And I think that people can only go to so many shows, right? And that's just going to have an effect. So I almost worry at some point that, like, in the same way that shows sometimes feel watered down with how many Repticons we have and show me's and everything else, herp shows, whatever, it's almost starting to feel that way with big national shows as well. Where we just have so many of them where it's hard to go to all of them now, right? It's almost impossible, actually.
It's tough. It is a big it's a big expense to travel. It's a big time expense. My wife is not a fan of me doing 20 shows a year,
right?
20 trips, so you have to balance life. And so I thought, genius idea, I'm going to pull back on shows this season. And so I didn't do Schaumburg, and I'm not doing St. Louis. I sent to staff, I really wanted to do Atlanta and support Bob, but it was just one, no breaks.
It's tough, right?
Yeah.
It's just hard. And I feel like we talked a little bit about it a couple weeks ago after, Charlotte, and it's like, it almost feels like these big, what were national travel shows are going to start becoming more regional shows, right? Because people do have to pick what they can go to. Like, not everybody has the means to travel to 20 shows or even to travel to 2 shows, to be honest. And so
I don't know.
Customers definitely don't.
I think the opportunities there. I think people are going to travel to Tinley.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Tinley's always going to be one of the big travel shows.
Well, people are going to travel to Tinley, but there's a lot of people that don't travel to Tinley, right? Like, it's not like everybody in our industry does go to Tinley.
Right. But what I'm saying is, I think there's still an opportunity to make a great destination show that can be successful.
Yes. I don't.
Whether that's Charlotte. I mean, even Daytona, it was down for many years. And, it just became a regional show. And I haven't been in forever. Daytona smells like pee and beer. And
fair.
Now, when I see pictures and video from the show, it really makes me want to go.
I still think it's a regional show.
Yeah, I feel like it's
still a regional.
Yeah, for real.
God, yeah. I mean, I see pictures. I mean, everybody's there. Everybody's hanging out.
We're there,
but we're not
we just go to hang out.
Yeah, it feels still like a regional show, but once again, like, I think sometimes we all get stuck in the fact that we're really only interacting with like 10% of the hobby, right? Like we're in our little circle and like we all see each other's shows because we're the average customer, for the most part, they're going to one or two shows at most, you know? And so that's, I think, where the bigger issue lies with having a ton of travel shows. It's not that, like, you're right, like Tinley is going to be an event, right? Tinley has been built up as, especially for ball python, right? October Tinley is ball python Mecca. That's when we all go to see the newest, greatest hatchlings because it coincides perfectly with hatchling season. And I'm sure other shows can be like that for other species and other things like that. It just feels like there's a lot right now. And I'm not saying, yeah, there's a lot. And I think that's part of some of the issues I think we're seeing when you have vendors that are traveling to all of these shows. And then they're like, oh, well, you know, every show can't be great. Right. I think that's maybe it. And I'm not trying to be overly negative with it. It's just kind of a thought, not necessarily like it.
But there's such other cool stuff going on. The Flora and Fauna show. A bunch of gecko nerds. I'd love to go do that small show. It looks so good.
Yeah.
And you know, there's something to be said. There are shows that are destination shows because of who's going to be there. People want to come and see Canova.
Do they though?
So when
that's why you showed
Canova
up,
doesn't make a show like Daytona, I'm surprised you guys don't do the show because I think that Canova has a specific draw. I mean, no, I don't know that anybody's come to see the Mariah Company, whatever that is, but Canova, yes.
I mean, that's funny you say that because we're cutting down our shows even more.
I know
where it's going to be pretty much just Tinley for right now.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think there's a lot of layers to this onion, but it just
tell me, Pat.
Yeah.
The new logo for your company, is it a picture of Mariah, like Mariah Carey, like that?
After some, well, first off, it's Rita Ora. Let me get it right. And then I really thought about changing it to Beyonce based on, you know, the feedback and suggestions you gave via text. So, but you know what? Like a picture of Mariah Carey or Rita Ora, like I think that's probably going to get more attention than a lot of logos in the industry, if we're being honest. It's going to look better. Just in
you didn't
general.
even know who Rita Ora was.
You know what's funny is I knew her music, it turns out. I did not know that it was her. And then when I got in the car, I had it on and my wife got in and she was like, oh, when did you start listening to Rita Ora? And I was like, Robyn was giving me shit. And she was like, wow, that's where we're at now. I was like, yep, that's where we're at. So she's on the playlist now. So thank you. Thank you for adding to my musical repertoire.
It's a repertoire, all right.
It is a repertoire. I got a lot going on there.
You got any Motley Crue in there?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay. My music goes from like death metal, Job of a Cowboy, to Cascada techno to really electronic dance.
The girl from the Grinch, like
to
break down his music
the girl from the Grinch.
I've never heard of any of these bands.
Oh man, Elton John, love me some Elton John. Yeah, you know, I mean, got a bunch. So
what about I'll listen to
the Cult. I don't love them, but I do have some of their stuff. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So
it's a refined taste.
Ooh, well, that I'm basically just a trash panda when it comes to music, so that's fair. I will listen to just about anything. So
my God, Trash Panda would have been a good company name.
You know,
where were you in the moment? Where were you?
Really easy graphics. I mean,
yeah, that's fair.
It speaks directly.
It says a lot about me, right? It really goes with the early homeless look that I bring to the shows. So
you could wear a panda costume at the events. Oh
no, nobody.
There's still time.
No, too much money has been spent. There's no longer time.
Rita Ora and the Trash Pandas.
Is that I don't have any Trash Pandas left. That's the problem.
I'm out of trash name.
I'm out of Trash Pandas currently. I've got one left. It's very sad. Oh my God, I love it so much. All right, so before we end here, because I promised an hour.
I thought this was just the intro.
Buddy, I would be good with that. Chase is about to fall asleep, so it's past his bedtime. So
I can go get more knives.
We're actually going to now just stop the show and start the swap meet.
Yeah, the swaps meet is after the show. Ask for the link in the comments.
Yeah. We'll go on Palm Street and sell all of Chase's heavy metal collectibles.
Oh my God, let's do it. All right, Tinley is next week. It's kind of a big deal for the industry. It's going to be a lot of fun. October Tinley. Robyn, I assume you will be there. That's
it. I'm both excited and anxious.
What are you anxious about?
It's a big event. You gotta, it's exhausting.
You gotta shake babies and kiss hands. I get it. It's tough.
Yeah. I gotta have a giant gallon-sized Ziploc for all the fucking toothbrushes that I'm gonna get. No, I mean, when I'm there, I love it. When I'm leading up to it, I'm dreading it. It's just
okay.
Yeah.
It's like, did we prepare okay? And I got Judy and Tyler running point on prep, and they're texting me today. Make sure we have this many shirts, this many hoodies, and this, this, that, and the other. And you just, what am I going to forget? What are we going to do?
Okay.
How many hours is it going to be? Can I stay awake through dinner?
I always feel that way when I'm packing the Sprinter for the show. I'm just like, I'm going to forget something. And I go over it over and over and over. I'm like, and then as soon as we pull out, I'm like, okay, I still think I forgot something, but let's hope we get there and everything's there.
Yeah. I mean, and it's great. You get energized once you're there.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah. And fortunately, I got a couple weeks down after Tinley, so
okay,
I can recoup. It's tough when you go weekend to weekend to weekend to weekend.
Yeah,
that can be exhausting. But
yeah, I don't know how the people that do the shows in and out like every weekend and go vend with their animals.
It's got to burn you out, man. Yeah. It's got to be tough.
Well, I think that has to be your life. That it can't be that you're a breeder and you also do some shows. I think you do shows. That's what you do. So you're not thinking like, oh God, I got to go out and do a show. You're thinking, this is my job. I do a show this week.
Man, it's still got to be a grind though. I mean, even if that.
Well, it's not for everybody, not for all personalities, but I mean, we all know people that do. I mean, there's 52 weeks in a year. We know people that do 65 shows in a year. Some folks do 2 and 3 shows in a week. A show Friday, a show Saturday, a show Sunday. That sounds like my worst nightmare.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
That's
rough. You could not pay me enough money to do that, but that's their life. That's what they do.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a grind. I used to talk to Lauren at Triple L about it. And I mean, at the time he was doing 38 or 40 shows, and and he's doing palletized shows.
Yeah.
So he's not just packing up his van. They're sending pallets and they're doing a whole island, and just thinking about it just makes me cringe and just shrink inside myself, because just the logistics of it, the headaches of it, how much fucking Carl's Jr. can you eat? It's just
the answer to that should be zero. Zero.
You know what? That's why food is so important at shows. That's one of the benefits, right? Get to go hang out with some cool folks and hopefully find some really good food.
Yeah.
That helps to offset it, because I don't want to eat at Burger King. Next to the Tinley show. That's not helping my enthusiasm. No, I want to have something good. And hey, everybody stay away from my spot. But the spot in Tinley is the Dancing Marlin. That's where you got to go. But don't go there, because I'm trying to be there and it's already busy enough. But Tinley.
I can't wait for us to all awkwardly make eye contact from different tables.
Don't worry, Robyn. Our tens of listeners. It's going to be a problem.
Everybody can meet us there. Yeah, Dancing
with
Marlin,
the toothbrushes.
They've got a really great bone marrow plate.
Okay.
They've got really great oysters. They had the world's best friggin' lobster roll last show in the spring.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a really good spot.
Yeah, we normally go into Chicago and eat dinner one of the nights.
It's too far. It's too far. Too much traffic.
Yeah, it's part of the deal.
Yeah, the Dancing Marlin's 10 minutes away, but don't go. Please don't go.
Don't go. Oh my God, I love it. Robyn, what's the best way for people to get a hold of you guys over at Redline?
It depends what you're trying to accomplish. If you have package questions and issues and your package is hung up in Memphis, please don't call me. I'm not that guy. You can contact our support team, support@redlineshipping.com. If people reach out to me and say, where's my freaking package? I just contact my support team. So that's who you contact. If you want to speak to me directly, email literally is the best. Robyn, ROBYN @redlineshipping.com. I hate with a burning, fiery passion the social media inboxes that are impossible to keep track of. I found one today. A guy messaged me 2 weeks ago. I got the notification today and said, hey, this guy wants to talk to you. It was buried 6 pages down on the Instagram messages.
Of course.
It's a nightmare trying to keep up with that stuff. So yeah, email is my favorite thing. If you want to reach me directly, just Robyn @redlineshipping.com. Cool. Or just contact Dr. Pat. He can take.
Yeah, I'll take the message. I'll forward it to Robyn. I'll act as the go-between. It'll be good. Chase, what's the best way for people to get a hold of you, bud?
JKRMGR on Instagram and Canova everywhere else.
Perfect. Aura Reptiles on all platforms, guys. Everything is set up now. Please, for the love of God, go get me likes. I
thought it was
Araya. Yeah, Araya. So close. Guys, I need the validation. Please give it to me. Robyn, this was fantastic. Next time, we got to get you on again. We'll talk about maybe life before shipping companies and reptiles and actual animals and stuff instead of
and more
collectibles.
I'll have more collectibles like at the desk ready to go.
We're also going to have a 15-minute section of just show and tell. So
that would be so amazing.
You know what? We're going to do it. So next time we have you on, we'll have some show and tell, and then we'll talk a little bit more about life prior to being the shipping kingpin that you are. So thank you for
that. I'd love to hear your guys pre-reptile existence.
Dude. Yeah, I think it's great. We'll do it. Thank you so much for coming on. It was a blast. Oh yeah, it was fantastic. Stick around for a second. I'm gonna end the show and then we'll talk afterwards. Chat, thank y'all once again.
Thank you, everybody. We love you.
Please like, subscribe. You know the gig. We love y'all. I'm not 100% sure we'll have an episode next week. We'll just see how dedicated Chase and I are. If not, we'll see you for sure in 2 weeks after Tinley. Love you guys. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again later. Bye.
Yeah.